The latest news, updates, and more from the world of health and medicine. This is Medical Minutes with Wish TV's medical reporter, Dr. Mary Gillis.
From Wish TV, I'm medical reporter Dr. Mary Gillis, and this is Medical Minutes on the All Indiana Podcast Network. Some women are reporting an unusual side effect after getting their COVID-19 shot. These women are getting their period soon after vaccination. They are also experiencing much heavier bleeding. So why is this happening? And what might be the long-term side effects? In this episode, we asked Dr. Camueal Wright, an OBGYN at CareSource, to answer these questions and more. Our conversation is next. Joining us in our newsroom, we have Dr. Camueal Wright from CareSource. We are always happy to see you here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here and to chat with you.
We're seeing a side effect from the coronavirus vaccine, and it's in a small number of people, but it's specific to women. What are we talking about here?
Yes. So there have been some isolated reports of women who have noticed menstrual irregularity after receiving the vaccine. It seems to be associated with all three of the authorized vaccinations. And as you said, it's in a very, very small group of women. So I think there's been just over 30 women who have reported that. And if you think about the millions of people who have been vaccinated, we're not talking big numbers here. But what those women have reported is either missed periods or periods that have come at an unexpected time, or periods that seem to be heavier than normal. I think that this is something that's not altogether unexpected. Sometimes our periods are the most sensitive indicator that there's something going on in our bodies. So if we have any stress, any change in our physical or even our psychological environment, we can oftentimes notice changes in our periods. So as a gynecologist, this is something that I've seen in thousands of patients, patients who are studying for final exams or going through a divorce or anything that may be stressful. They may notice that their period is not what they expect. And I think in this situation, the vaccine can be considered to be a stress on our body because it is causing our immune system to rev up and to respond to the germ. And so as our body is mounting that response, one of the things that we might see in relationship to that is a change in our menstrual period. And I think that, again, that's not altogether unexpected. And what's, I think, very important is that it is not alarming. So if a woman were to notice that her period changed shortly thereafter receiving the vaccine, then she shouldn't be worried. The change should be temporary and it should be short-lived. Now, certainly if she notices ongoing problems, or if the bleeding is very heavy, and by that I mean soaking more than a menstrual pad in an hour, then she should reach out to her doctor and make sure that there's nothing else going on.
Well, Dr. Wright, that's so interesting that you talked about both the stressful event of getting the shot, right? Maybe the buildup, it's happening at this time. We've been through this pandemic. Now we're finally getting our shot.
The pandemic itself.
And then, right, also, as you had mentioned, that getting a shot, the immune response. And if our menstrual cycle is very sensitive to different types of things that are going on in our life, I mean, it kind of makes sense that would be affected. But what you're saying is, from what I understand, this, there's a small number of cases, but this isn't too unexpected considering just the way that women's bodies are. And let me ask you this. So have we seen this with other vaccines?
We have. So this is something that has been reported in the literature. Again, it's not a very common side effect, but something certainly that we've seen before. And the thought, again, has to do with the immune response that the body is mounting. With the COVID vaccine, there is speculation that there may be a temporary response to our platelets as well. So our platelets are part of our bloodstream that helps our blood clot. So some people have theorized that perhaps there's a very temporary response in our platelets that could also be contributing to the heavy menstrual bleeding. The important thing again is that this is temporary. It's not thought to be harmful. It's not thought to be long-term. It should not affect your ability to conceive. It should not negate your birth control or any of the other things that women may be concerned about.
Okay. Can you, Dr. Wright, can you go back to the mechanism by which we're talking about how the vaccine might affect the clotting? So might that be something linked to why it might be our periods might be heavier post-vaccination? Can you just untangle that a little bit? And
Absolutely. So I don't want to get too technical for your audience, but there are elements in the vaccine that can affect elements in our blood known as platelets. And those platelets are responsible for helping our body to clot. And if they are not working in the manner in which we're used to them working, then that might show up as heavy bleeding. We also know that, at least with the AstraZeneca vaccine that is not authorized and still investigational at this point, there's the opposite effect of the blood potentially clotting too easily. So we know that there may be some short-term effect in the way that our bodies clot, but what we know, at least from the 3 vaccines that are authorized, is that we have not been able to identify any long-term consequences from that.
Right. And as you mentioned, this is very rare. Maybe you said maybe a dozen cases or something, or I don't know about that.
A little over 30. So there is a vaccine registry that tracks adverse events. And when you're vaccinated, you will be given information about how to report those adverse events so that we can track and trend those over time. And so there have been about 56,000 people who have reported something. Again, nothing has been shown to be very serious, but of that, there have been a little over 30 women who have reported some menstrual irregularities. So we're talking very, very small numbers.
Right. So maybe just, too much to say that there could be a link. This just could, might be a coincidence. And then again, I understand there is research out there that I think University of Illinois has started to track. They already have 700 people tracking women to see if this is a side effect. But so more research really needs to be done before it makes a list of CDC official side effects of potential vaccination. And then, like you said,
exactly right.
Not to be concerned unless you are experiencing something that is above normal. You should go see your doctor. Also, is that what I'm hearing? Your advice is?
That is correct. So more research needs to be done. We need to gather more research on how women will respond to the vaccine. But our preliminary data shows that even if you have this side effect, it's not anything to be concerned about. It absolutely should not prevent you from getting the vaccine. If you were to notice a change in your period that was more than just temporary and it seemed to be ongoing, or the bleeding was heavy enough that you are concerned, so we generally classify that as soak in a pad in less than 1 hour, then I'm going to recommend that you go ahead and reach out to your healthcare provider just to make sure that there's nothing else going on.
Well, Dr. Wright, always great to see you. Thank you so much for your insight. Really appreciate it.
You are very welcome. Have a wonderful day.
This has been Medical Minutes from Wish TV. I'm medical reporter Dr. Mary Gillis. Be sure to follow and subscribe to this podcast and check out new updates every week. You can also learn more at wishtv.com and when you follow Wish TV on Facebook.
Learn more and get more with Wish TV. Online at wishtv.com and when you follow Wish TV on Facebook. Be sure to check out more great podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.